I am in the class and category of people that will see material benefit from Trump's policies. You won't be. I don't know why you're telling me cry. I at least have the foresight to recognize that these kinds of policies unironically destabilize the country and exacerbate wealth inequality. That's why I'm advocating against my immediate material benefits. Trump's corruption is bad and wrong, but most people also see Biden pardoning his son and now preemptively pardoning his whole family. Nancy Pelosi's stock trading, and the Clintons setting up an influence peddling operation, NGO and Joe's corruption too. I mean, this isn't wrong. This is actually correct. The reason Trump's corruption is going to be such a gift to the Dems is that he doesn't try to hide it because he doesn't think it's wrong. But most Americans do think it's wrong. No, they don't. You know, you want to know something funny? Trump's corruption being out in the open unironically makes people think he's more honest than the secretive ways in which the Democrats do dealing. They think the Democrats are corrupt and also simultaneously try to hide their corruption through sophisticated measures, whereas Trump just kind of does it out in the open and says, oh, I'm doing it for you. So it's even dumber than that. Most Americans literally look at that and go, okay, that makes sense. Because you should never forget, okay? American foreign policy is uniparty, right? American foreign policy is uniparty, pretty much bipartisan, right? Let's take a look at giving weapons to Saudi Arabia, for example, something that, because it's uniparty, the Democratic Party has done, and something that the Republican Party has done. When Trump was president and Mohammed bin Salman got Jamal Khashoggi, an American legal permanent resident and a Washington Post reporter, chopped up in the Saudi consulate in Turkey, in Istanbul, okay, and was outed for assassinating him, the media was up in arms. And they were like, how dare you, Trump? I can't believe, what are you going to do about Saudi Arabia? And Trump was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give him billions of dollars of weapons. And the media went back to him and said, you're going to give him billions of dollars of weapons, but he killed a journalist. What's happening? Right? To which Donald Trump turned around and said, are you going to give me $1 billion for these weapons? They're going to get it anyway. If they don't get it from us, they're going to get it from Russia. People looked at that and went, oh yeah, that actually does make sense. Okay, that's it. That is open corruption. That is honest with your dishonesty. That is Trump's modus operandi. Whereas, under similar circumstances, the way that the Democrats operate come across as cynical and hypocritical, because the Democrats try to present themselves as like the world peace champions, somehow morally above all of this stuff, where they will, on the one hand, try to manufacture consent, on the other hand, engage in a metric ton of violence overseas, but will also do it in a very smarmy way. We'll also do it in a way where they're like, no, this is actually good for the world peace. We are the world peacekeepers. We have an international rule-based order that we must maintain, while simultaneously eroding it. And the hypocrisy in full display when Donald Trump ends up, of course, allowing Israel to roll over Gaza, and Democrats spit on your face, tell you it's raining, and say, how dare you? How dare you claim we're spitting on your face? Trump spit on your face and says, hey, there wasn't any other space for me to spit on. You know, what are you going to do? And people go, yes, you're right, sir. I deserve to be spit on by you. That's the difference. Okay. So in that regard, people actually consider Trump's dishonesty in broad daylight to be a refreshing and new way of governance. Okay. That's it. That is the major difference here. If corruption is uniparty, if foreign policy is uniparty, and one side is at the very least saying like, yeah, we're fucked up, we're bad, but everyone's bad. It is what it is. You got to do what you got to do. People, I think, respond to that more positively. Liberals, on the other hand, liberal voters in general, and people who find themselves to be intellectuals, who read the New York Times and read NPR and all this stuff, they want this kind of intellectual veneer to hide the shame, to hide the open corruption. They like that. They think that that is like a better way to approach the subject matter. They want to delude themselves into believing that they are doing good at the end of the day, but it's too hard. Things are simply too complicated. Republicans don't want that. And they don't think that. They don't think it's too complicated. And in some instances, it's not that complicated. Like in Israel, it's not that complicated. Okay? So that's what it is. That's the difference here. So no, I don't think Trump's corruption is going to be such a gift to the Democrats, because most people also think the Democrats are corrupt as well. And for good reason, they think this. And in any case, Donald Trump's transparent graft is oftentimes cherished and celebrated, because a lot of people also personally think that Trump is doing it for them. I mean, think about it this way. It's incredibly complicated. Are you serial? Israel's incredibly complicated. Israel's doing a genocide. Israel, when it's not doing a genocide, maintains an apartheid. These things are completely immoral and also illegal under international law, if you care about that sort of thing. Israel couldn't do any of those things without American political cover and American material support. And because of that, we have it doesn't matter what both sides feeling like they're legitimate does not change the dynamic even a fraction. You understand? Israel does not have a say in this process. We do. Okay? We do. America does. Any notion that Israel has a say in this process is utterly delusional. Okay? Even with a complex, sophisticated web of nations, Israel still does not have any control over the situation as long as Americans say, you're done. Okay? That's it. Because we supply Israel with 69% of its weapons. We supply Israel with 69% of its weapons. We do. Do you understand? Without our steady flow of munitions into Israel, and without the complex web of surveillance that we have cultivated in the region, specifically to defend Israel and offer Israel new targets to bomb, for example, with our weapons, with our Air Force that they've rebranded as their own, with our bombs that they drop on top of the civilian population, Israel would not be able to do even a little bit of that. They couldn't, okay? No, don't do the both sides stuff in the Holy Land. I don't know what you're talking about. Listen to my words. None of that matters, okay? We're talking about America right now. We're talking about America. Israel would never be able to do even a fraction of the damage or death or destruction if America did not allow it. If America did not have a grand design for the region where they want Israel to maintain control over the entirety of the region, none of this would happen, okay? None of this would happen. So when we have this awesome amount of power over Israel, and we are wielding Israel like a weapon, okay, in the region, even though it is that somehow, sometimes actually does escape the leash, we still give them that assurance. We still give them that protection, okay? If we wanted to, as is the case with a belligerent rabid dog, we could put it down if we wanted to. We could cage it if we wanted to. We choose not to. It's that simple. America could end Israel's bloodshed with one singular phone call. Okay? Either you recognize that reality, or you think, or you personally think, that Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump's golf partner and real estate developer, random guy, is a brilliant foreign policy mind that was somehow able to stop Israel and make them concede to the ceasefire negotiations that have been on the table since December 2023. The exact conditions that Hamas had actually presented in December 2023. So which is it? Is Steve Witkoff the greatest foreign policy mind that anyone has ever seen? Or can even a random dickhead who was a real estate developer and a golfing buddy of Donald Trump, before Trump is even the fucking president, could go there and be like, I'm acting as the envoy here. You're going to fucking abide by the ceasefire, no matter what kind of political penalties you might get. Which is it? That's how much power we have over Israel. You understand? That it doesn't even have to be the president. It doesn't even have to be the president-elect. It can be the president-elect's golf buddy that tells Israel to fucking stand down, and they stand down, forcing him to meet on a Saturday. On a holy day. What do you think that is? Anyway, having said that, we have this level of power over Israel, And you'll see what Donald Trump lets Israel do. Just wait, because things are going to get much, much worse still. Okay? Can you remind us how this OG plan came together and why Biden is claiming he wrote it? They lie about everything. Biden lied about every step of the process. Like, and it's not unique to Biden either. So did Bill Clinton in the so-called peace process and the peace negotiations that took place. They lied during the meetings. They lied after the meetings. They leaked key details of the meetings that favored Israel. This is just, this is just the way America operates for the same reasons, because Palestine and Palestinians are a thorn on American foreign policy's side. Israel is our settler colony. We took it over from the British, okay? And because the mainstream press, especially in the Western world, no matter how independent they present themselves to be, is a mouthpiece and a stenographer for the State Department, when the State Department says this is our interest, mainstream press will also actively delude the population. That's why everyone not here that wasn't listening to me, when they come in here, are shocked when they find out new information that completely contradicts what they've been reading on the New York Times. It's like, what? This doesn't make sense. Anyway, Donald Trump halts foreign aid for 90 days. Oh, another one at the top of the hour, nonetheless. Another incredible, brilliant executive order has hit the towers, dude. Once again, at the top of the hour, nonetheless, we have yet another fantastic, phenomenal foreign aid halted. What does that mean? Does that mean no aid to Ukraine? Does that mean no aid to Israel? I doubt that Israel is included in this. We'll see. I'll look into it a little bit further. Didn't you make a deal to do a photo shoot? What? Yeah, I said I would show hole and dick and balls if Donald Trump ended the apartheid. Do you think Donald Trump ended the apartheid? Like, as in there's a Palestinian state right now? Yeah. Meanwhile, White House bureau chief at Washington Post, from the publication that now has a 3 million circulation, down from 24 million in 2021, comes this wonderful note. President Trump sits and takes questions after question from reporters in the Oval Office, something that almost never happened with President Biden. What executive orders have passed? So many. Too many to count. Many of them are stupid. But here's another wonderful take from Trump on Gaza.
Gaza, boy, I looked at a picture of Gaza. Gaza is like a massive demolition site. That place it's really got to be rebuilt in a different way.
Yeah, World Health Organization withdrawal, unlimited climate change. No, limited to climate change. Left the Paris Climate Accords.
Do you plan to help rebuilding Gaza?
I might. Gaza is interesting. It's a phenomenal location. On the sea, best weather. Everything's good. It's like some beautiful things could be done with it, but it's very interesting. But some fantastic things could be done with Gaza.
When you hear a real estate developer say that, run, okay? This man wants to turn Gaza into a golf course. Oh, my God. Reevaluating and realigning United States foreign aid by the authority vested in me by the president, as president by the Constitution and laws of the United States. The United States foreign aid industry and bureaucracy are not aligned with American interests, in many cases antithetical to American values. They serve to destabilize the world by promoting ideas in foreign countries that are directly inverse to harmonious and stable relations internal among countries. I think part of this is like NGOs that he's talking about that do like reproductive health rights and things of that nature. You know what I mean? He did this last time too, by the way, for those of you who don't know. He greatly limited aid to like African countries, like foreign aid that we were given to African countries. Some of that, ironically, is good and for soft power, and others are actually a complex web of espionage opportunities that we create with civil society organizations that we implement in other nations. So, there's a little bit of both in there, just so you understand. This is part of the reason why a lot of people who are cranks in general will look to Donald Trump and be like, yeah, he's really curbing back the deep state. If you are wondering where those thoughts come from, this is part of the reason. Because it is true, U.S. aid and also, NGOs that we operate alongside, like that we give endowments to, operate alongside the State Department in an effort to create civil society organizations in foreign nations that we want to destabilize down the line. However, I do not believe that Donald Trump is even remotely interested in curbing the deep state. So let's continue. It is the policy of the United States that no further U.S. foreign assistance should be distributed in a manner that is not fully aligned. 90-day pause in the foreign development assistance assessment of programmatic efficiencies and consistency with U.S. foreign policy. All department and agency heads with responsibility for United States foreign development assistance programs shall immediately pause new obligations and disbursements of development assistance funds to foreign countries. Implementing NGOs, international organizations, and contractors pending reviews of such programs for programmatic efficiency. To be conducted in 90 days, the OMB shall enforce this pause. Reviews of foreign assistance programs, determinations. The responsible department and agency heads, in consultation with the director of the OMB, will make determinations within 90 days of this order on whether to continue, modify, or cease each foreign assistance program. All right, where is it? Okay, they may waive the pause. The Secretary of State may waive the pause. Okay, well, Marco Rubio will waive that pause for Israel, if that is even a part of this at all. Do you think he will pressure Pakistan to free Imran Khan? I feel like they had a good relationship. That would be awesome. That would be another marker for J.D. Pandan, permanent first world genocide. Maoist third world is J.D. Pandan. Freeing Imran Khan would be kind of funny. Yes, some of the aid that goes through Congress is different than what this program seeks to curb back. DC police officer attacked by the mob on January 6th. Just worked for 14 hours making sure Trump's inauguration was secure, peaceful, home, and got... Oh, my God. They're still doing the J6, man. Oh, my God. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up. Move on. Move on. Move on. Move on. Donald Trump over here is like, I think the World Health Organization should implode. And these guys are like, dude, look at this cop that was at the Capitol on January 6th and was attacked by Donald Trump's cronies and is now finding out that it's their attackers are free.
He was in control. He knows what he wants to do, and he went right to work. I mean, he'll be here a little later than originally planned because he was taking questions from the press and signing executive orders. Wow. By the way, he took more questions today than Joe Biden did in 4 years.
I loved that he signed executive orders at the arena in front of the crowd. I loved when Fox was airing the two shots.
Wait, a PBS News posted poll on January 2025 that shows adult Americans 62% disapprove of Trump pardoning the January 6 convicts. Yeah, he's that ride or die for his most loyal fan base. Okay, what are you going to do about it? That's just the reality. What are you going to do about it? The greatest thing that you could have done is defeat him if you were competent. Okay, this is what I'm trying to explain to people. Like Donald Trump will do things for his base, no matter how unhinged or insane it is. Democrats won't even give its base something that 80% of its base demands. Like 80%, 84% of Democrats were like, please give us a ceasefire, please. Let's do a ceasefire by denying weapons transfers, please. Anything, please. And the Democrats were like, no, best I can do is send Richie Torres the Dearborn. Donald Trump will literally, and I've said this so many times. I said this during the election cycle. I said this last time Donald Trump was running. Whenever there is a vote to be had, Donald Trump will go there, meet you where you're at, and tell you, all right, I'm going to give that to you. No matter how niche of a micro interest it may be, or no matter how insane it may be. Okay? And the reality is that shows loyalty back to his constituents. The stuff like this plays well to his base at the end of the day. So everyone outside of the base, the 65%, many of which voted for him as well, will go, oh, he's doing it again. But a big chunk of that 65% that disapprove of this are still going to vote Republican. You understand? They are still going to vote Republican. Every single Republican that was polled on that said they disapprove of Donald Trump pardoning the January 6ers are going to suck it the fuck up and vote Republican. You want to know why? Because later down the line, Trump is going to do something for them. Okay? That's it. It might be that they hate trans people and Trump is going to do the fuck trans people bill. Okay? It might be because they, I don't know, they have they need fishing permits in a North Dakota river. And Donald Trump's like, oh yeah, I signed an executive order, or I went and talked to Doug Burgum and now we have fishing permits for the 500 people living in the North Dakotan village that really wanted that fishing permit. And they're going to go, okay, I'm voting for him. That's how he does. That's how he does it. Bro, this dude, like, secured votes in Maine because of, like, some unique random lobster dispute. Okay? He gave a random native tribe federal recognition, and now those guys are voting for him permanently. Okay? He does stuff like this all the time. Why are you hating on him? Why am I hating on him? Because he wants to do deportation of 20 million people living on U.S. soil that haven't done any fucking crimes whatsoever. And the only crimes that they crossed the goddamn imaginary line and now are infinitely more important and functioning members of society than someone such as yourself. That's why I think this is ruthless, cruel, unusual. And also, on top of that, he's going to obviously do massive tax cuts for the wealthy and corporations once again, when the opposite should be happening. Okay? Those are two top priorities for me, on top of curbing back reproductive rights for women and also signing an executive order day one that says, like, fuck trans people. Mass amounts of deregulation that will harm the American public, and also tax cuts. Cry bitch. Dog, I am in the class and category of people that will see material benefit from Trump's policies. You won't be. I don't know why you're telling me, cry bitch. I at least have the foresight to recognize that these kinds of policies unironically destabilize the country and exacerbate wealth inequality. That's why I'm advocating against my immediate material benefits. You don't own a deed to a factory, and yet here you are defending capitalism tooth and nail, like you got a fucking factory, like you got any assets whatsoever. The only asset you have to your name is a busted down 1997 Honda Civic that was a hand-me-down from your older brother, and he fucked in it, and you've never gotten pussy in it. For the rest of your life, you will never get pussy in it because you're busy working at the fucking Jack in the Box for $15 an hour. And here you are thinking, oh man, if I actually advocate for Republican policies, one day I'll be super wealthy too. It's so fucking stupid. It blows my mind. Work for your self-interest. Stop working against your self-interest, okay? Nah, dude, you don't get it. The next crypto rug pull, I'll be in on it. And I'll be the one pulling the rug from other dumbasses, you say over and over again, as you literally take out the remainder of your crumb of disposable income and lose it instantly. I don't think elitism is the shit. It is classless. Do you think I'm being an elitist? I'm explaining the situation. I'm saying that Donald Trump works against the interests of the working class. And if you come in here and defend that as a member of the working class, sometimes you need a little bit of a cold, hard pill to swallow. Anyway, I'm a sub and love you in your broadcast, but I'm resonating more with drink than you lately. You're right, because unfortunately for you, I don't think that we should melt homeless people or, keep prisoners in perma jail. I apologize. I care about some of the most fucked over people in society. Okay. Those are some of the most fucked over people in society. Thank you, Oh Zai, for the 100 gifted subs. Like, what is this? What, explain further what you mean, please. I think the immigration issue is real. That's about it. Everything else, I agree with you. The immigration issue is real. How? Elaborate. Do you think that undocumented immigrants are actually responsible for an insane amount of crimes and they're just simply not being prosecuted? Or do you think it's a racist lie that Donald Trump has escalated over and over again, and with no pushback whatsoever from the supposedly anti-fascist side of the political equation, people have just taken it for granted and now believe it to be true? Because if you can't disagree with facts, okay? When people say undocumented migrants, or the immigration issue is real, you have to explain what you mean by that. Do you mean that they're doing a lot of crimes? Because that's what Donald Trump says. Maybe you agree with it, maybe you don't, but I can give you the facts on why that's not true. Do you think that they are stealing jobs from hardworking Americans? Okay, you might believe that. That's also not true. We can get into that. What exactly do you think is bad Because I also think there is an issue with immigration in this country. Okay? I also think there's an issue with immigration in this country. But the problem is not that there isn't enough enforcement. The problem with immigration is that we don't have a process where we can easily and expeditiously document people and integrate them into the workforce. That's the real problem with immigration. But nobody wants to solve that problem because capitalists, capital owners, business owners that hire undocumented immigrants want to keep them undocumented so they can have two different tiers in the labor force that will actively depress the wages of the documented American labor force. Okay? No, I know he lied about the crime. I watched you daily. I know there was only 30 murders. I'm just broke. I do feel like I'm getting the short end of the stick. So yeah, that's the job thing. You think undocumented immigrants are taking your job? Like you've been applying the jobs and it's, you know, it's Juan from Guatemala that took the job that you were applying for. That's what you think is going on? Is that what you think is happening? It's more complex than I can explain in chat from Hasan. It's hard to get my point across like this. I don't want to argue. I love your show, bro. Not your average Guatemalan says, to be fair, I did take their job. Brother, let me explain something to you, okay? Who do you think has more power in this process? Business owners who are constantly interested in lowering the American working class's wages and the politicians that work at their behest? Or random dudes from Guatemala and Honduras that are going over the border, trekking for hundreds, if not thousands of miles to go pick fucking agricultural crop for 3 cents an hour? Like, this blows my mind. We are so easily duped by this propaganda. It's so crazy to me that like people will be like, nah, it's not our bosses that are actively fucking us over. It's actually the dude from Guatemala that's fucking me over, dude. Doing a job that I would never do for price points that I would never even look at under conditions that I cannot fathom. Okay?
When Sean felt that the kids were starting to lose a connection with the greatness of the country and our history in the schools and everywhere, and he put these concerts on, and they were the most wonderful concerts. And I came here tonight to say, will you please produce a couple of more of those concerts for the children of today?
You know what? I think that's a great...
the brilliant minds of the Trump, for the Hollywood celebrities who are fans of Trump. It's John Voight, isn't it? It's not Christopher Walken, chatters. He's John Voight, Angelina Jolie's dad. The narco violence is real, though. Yeah. You want to know how you stop the narco violence? By having a normal, documented migration process so that nobody fucking gives a $10,000 to a bunch of cartel guys to be snuck over the border. If you have the opportunity to go in, if you have the opportunity to go into the country through legal means, why would you not take it? That is my argument. So yes, restrictive border policies unironically line the pockets of the cartels. You know what else also helps the cartels? Having ridiculous criminal penalties for drugs in this country, and also simultaneously having an unrestricted amount of weapons in this country. If you truly want to tackle the issue of drug trafficking, you shouldn't be going after undocumented migrants. They're not the ones who are actually shipping the drugs over the border. Okay? You need better apprehension methods at our ports, that's for sure. But you also need to reshift your priorities to the people who are actually trafficking the drugs. And there's data readily available for this as well. Lo and behold, oh my God, according to the Department of Homeland Security, turns out 90% of the drugs that are being shipped over the borders are actually going through regular ports of entry. And lo and behold, the people that are shipping those drugs, the people that are trafficking those drugs, are not undocumented migrants. 80% of those who are apprehended at the border for trafficking drugs across the border are actually American citizens. So the narco trade is actually, one, supplied by a healthy number of American munitions and American arms that we can give to the cartels. That's number one. And also, it's trafficked by American citizens, and the market is American consumers. So it's all just Americans. Undocumented migrants play no role virtually in this process.